Hello, and welcome back to FRLT. Hello. Sorry, my mic got cut. Um, welcome back to FRLT Season 4, and it's time for fours, round number 6. And this week we come to the track of COTA. As you can see, 5.513 kilometers, 3.425 miles, 20 turns, 2 DRS zones, down the pit straight and down the main straight. As you see, quite a bit of elevation, especially at turn 1 as well. Looking at the calendar, of course, like usual, we've completed Imola, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Great Britain, and round 5 in Austria. The final 4 races this season are now here upon us, and it is COTA to begin with. Yes, it is COTA to be the first of the races. Then next week we'll be going to China, then the Netherlands, and then on the 11th of the 5th we'll be going to Bahrain. Ooh, gonna be an interesting one. Definitely gonna be an interesting one. So, with that, we're gonna be getting ready now. We're starting just about now for the race. Oh, sorry, for qualifying. Getting started for qualifying just now. But just before I show you the screen, we'll have a look at the standings quickly. XR8 took the lead of the constructors out of Austria on 126 points, 4 points behind them. ABE just very slightly behind, very slightly, but it is incredibly close at the top. Then UFRT follow in third in the constructors. They've struggled to get drivers for this week, but they will come in with all 4 drivers needed. Of course, no TTRE. XPG coming to this week. XR8, by the way, also have a 1 driver ban for this week as well. So one of their drivers won't be racing. So it means they're another driver down, just like last week. XPG looking for another strong race. That victory really has helped them out. They're hoping to overtake TTRE this week and bring it up to 4th. VRT, you might be wondering where they are. Sadly, this season they have had to bow out of the championship after acknowledging that they sadly cannot get the right pace of drivers. They're a bit off of the pace at the moment, and they decided to drop out and give the position to SKG, who now come in for them and replace them. We should be having 19 drivers. We currently have, I think we're currently slightly short on that. I think we currently have 18. Yes, we do. We only have 18 drivers. So we're a little bit short on that. And somebody's reset my stuff on here. Give me a second. The on-screen display has gone funny. The game's gone stupid. And it won't give me this full map. Okay. Okay. No, there we go. Fixed. So I'll take you to the track now. Don't mind the black screen for a second. But here is the track. All ready to go for this week. All very raring to go. Of course, XR8 leading the constructors only by 4 points though. So it is incredibly close at the moment at the top of the constructors. I think everybody agrees it is incredibly close at the moment in the constructors championship. I don't think any team so far this season has really come out on top. I think, of course, you've got sort of VRT, of course, further behind. SKG just starting out, but he's fine, only doing 4 races out of the 9. You've got XPG who was joined late in round 4. But they've shown that they can win races, and I think we've also, we've seen UFRT here and there can have some really good finishes. But it's really been between ABE and XR8 this season. I think, of course, ABE led 4 races in the championship, and out of round 5, XR8 have now led their first race of the season in the championship. Can they lead for the next 4 races? I currently do not know. I don't personally think they'll lead for the final 4 races, but we'll have to see. Riding on board with Raxi. Let's see how he's going to do on his lap as he now starts off heading up the hill towards turn 1. Slight rain on track. Still drivers have gone for the dry tyres. Into turn 1. Goes the car through. Ooh, losing the rear. The rain definitely affecting the track a little bit. It is really, I think, affecting the track. You can see those soft tyres slipping about a bit. Drivers not being as quick as they usually are. And now up through Sector 1 towards the final part of Sector 1. It's 26.796. It's definitely, the rain is definitely affecting the cars a bit, taking these next 2 corners really tight. Very good from Raxi so far. He's looking pretty strong on his lap. Heading towards the hairpin, he's going to have a miserable 3 hairpins to hit. And he's done one of them. He's still got another 2 to go past. He's got the next corner, which is a hairpin. And then in the final sector, the hairpin, of course. Heading down the main straight now with the DRS, one of the longest DRS zones on the calendar. So he now heads into the next corner, throwing it in. Final corner to the middle sector. As now he crosses that middle sector line. 1 minute 6.135 so far. Unsure of where that's going to get him. But so far, looking pretty decent. Slipping around, quite a lot of slipping around from this Alpine, of course. Heading around, he's looking okay. There's nothing spectacular so far. I'd say that it's coming from his lap, so really, at the moment, nothing spectacular. Whoa, quite a bit of sliding there from Raxi. Now, into the final corner he goes. How is he going to do? He gets around the final corner. Very good through there. And across the line, it is a 1 minute 39.710, but as expected, it's a bit of a struggle to get across the line. Josh Rowe slots into P2. We've got some other cars crossing line. Milan, now just exactly 1/10 off of that time. Very, very, very close in the end. Ooh, he's a little bit close, I think, maybe for comfort. For Raxi, I think we just saw Yanni go P3. Very solid there. Deck went P5. Bad Boy in P6. And Bardi in P7. Quite a bit of a gap at the moment. Quite a bit of a gap, shall we say, as it currently stands. I think that's the next PG just starting his lap. And that's Wookie. Yes, Wookie. Who now, or Waki, either one, who goes P3. Not far off, a 10th and a half off of Raxi at the moment. So the rain definitely not helping. So I can see why the drivers have gone out quite early. Try to go around on the dry tyres. Across the line. JD Bogsma goes P10. Not the best of laps. Where does Sol go? Sol goes P6, jumping his teammates. That's a good lap from Sol. AB need a strong qualifying here tonight. At the moment, they're definitely looking like they're getting a decent one. King Stafford just started his lap. Flinner, Kawakimo's the latest on his lap. Let's see how he's going to do in his middle sector. It's not looking too fast, I'd say. His middle sector's, he's invalidated. Disappointment there. They've got Flinner next. Flinner coming around. Oh, a little bit later on the brakes. See how he's going to do into the next few corners. Looking pretty solid. That Mercedes looked pretty planted so far on his lap. It doesn't look like it's struggling at all. So now he makes his way around into the penultimate corner before then hitting the final corner. A little bit of sliding through there. Can Flinner put in a strong lap? It's not going to be fastest. It's nowhere going to be close to the fastest. It's going to be a 42.4. Not the worst, but it is the second worst time of tonight. And so far, it's a bit of a waiting game. I think the drivers have really gone out early so they won't have these problems later. I think that's really what's happened here. They've done this so when they do eventually go out on their lap. The thing is the rain letting off? It doesn't look like it is. So very much getting in these laps while the rain is kind of maybe lighter might be better. As King Stappen goes P6. So I think the rain's gotten slightly heavier because we're seeing King Stappen down by quite a bit, by 9/10 at the moment. But I guess we'll have to see how the rest of the lap goes. Bourbon Boy's just started his lap. Let's see what Bourbon Boy does, because this man for XPG has been extraordinary at times. Very much extraordinary. He's put on some real highlights. He's got out on the intermediates. Definitely feeling maybe that the intermediate tyres are faster. It is. Weather is on approximate. Weather is on approximate, by the way. It should be on approximate because I set it to approximate. But as you can see now, Bourbon Boy, he backs off after invalidating his lap. Bit of disappointment there for himself. A couple of drivers have now come out onto the intermediate tyres, including Josh Rose. Flinner's doing another lap on the softs. He feels like he can go even faster. Rusted Bolt's coming round on a set of softs. So now King Stappen makes his way round. Nobody on a lap at the moment except Flinner. I think Flinner's had a bit of a moment. He's in the wall. Flinner in the wall. He's been able to save it. No damage, but still a massive slide, and clearly showing the wet weather is a bit too much for him at the moment. Bourbon Boy is now actually starting his lap. Let's see whether he's going to do well or not. Let's ride on board with the XPG driver. He's put in an extra lap of fuel, so he should be safe. On the brakes into turn one, he's gone very deep and very wide. That's not how you want to take turn one at all. Coming down the hill. Definitely looking like there's a bit more grip on these tyres, on these intermediates. Let's see. Yeah, there definitely seems to be a lot more grip. Through here, 26.599 is set. That, I believe, is the fastest first sector set so far. So it's a very fast first sector from Bourbon. Let's see. It's not a lot faster than when the first drivers came out on their softs. I think the fastest sector was about 26.6 or something. So not a lot faster. Rear wing open with the DRS heading down this main straight. Through into this next left-hander. Bit of a lock up there. Not exactly what you'll be wanting at all. Not what you'll be wanting in any sort of way. Now, making his way round, he's validated again. It's more disappointment for Bourbon. Not sure what's happening to him here tonight. I think it's Milan who's next. Milan's up by almost a second so far, so he could be he's on his way to possibly going to the 1 minute 38s. So he's finding a lot of time on the inters. We're probably going to see him fully get there. Josh Roslow goes to a 1 minute 37.873. Josh Rose finds about 3 seconds in his lap. So maybe some mistakes there, but it does definitely bring XR8 into contention for pole once again. Yanni goes P2. He just hops ahead of Raxi and Milan. Milan crossing the line. Where's Milan going to go? Milan goes faster all by 9 thousandths of a second to a 1 minute 37.864. That is one hell of a lap from himself. Incredible lap, I will say. Who's next? Is it another McLaren? Yes, it is. It's Bardi, who didn't set up his lap well, and he's not setting up this one too well. He was up by 7 tenths anyway, so he actually would have had a pretty fast lap there from himself. We've got Karakimo coming around the final corner now. Let's see. Whoa, and a massive slide on the rear. And he invalidated anyway, so it wasn't great in the end. Deck is improving. He's up by a quarter of a second, but he pulls into the pit lane. He's not happy. I don't think he's particularly happy with his lap there. Raxi's coming around now. I think Rusted Bolt is next. Jenny Bergsmo is next across the line. He goes P5. Solid lap there from himself. What he'd really be looking for. Wookie not improving on his lap. He was improving by 6 tenths, but he's decided to stay out. The rain is getting lighter though, so Intermediates, interesting choice. Definitely an interesting choice now. Raxi is on his lap on the intermediates. Let's see, how much does he improve in Sector 1? He's gone almost 4/10 faster already. That had already climbed him up into P4 in qualifying. So it's a good jump. I mean, he's already faster than Josh Rose in Sector 1. He's already faster than Milan in Sector 1. So he's already found that bit of extra time. XR8 definitely pushing for a strong one, but SKG also pushing out there on debut. They want to take that victory. Let's see. See how that's going to go. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, can't help yawning. Holy. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please think about subscribing, leaving a like. Also, click on the notification bell to know about all the content we're going to be doing this season. So, Raxi making his way round. He's up by quite a bit, but the rain does feel like it's a bit lighter now. It does feel like it's gotten slightly lighter. SKG looking possibly like the next dominant team. P1, P3, P4, and I believe P12 as well. So they're looking like the next dominant teams. Now Raxi goes P1 with a 37.174. That's a lot faster. Rusted Bolt just went P8. Undeniably fast from Rusted Bolt. Mono goes into only P11, so it's not the best of laps there. I think that was Jetty Bergsman heading into the pits. I think we have Flinner on a lap heading round. I think we've got King Stappen on his way, and he was improved by almost a second as well, so not even a small amount. Sol as well coming around. Then we've got a McLaren. That's Milan. He's up by over 0.2 of a second again, so he's going to find quite a bit more time. He's not finding a huge amount of time, not as much as his opponent Raxi did. He's not finding as much time. Still 0.2 would bring the gap down quite a bit. Let's see. Is it the final sector where he's going to find maybe another 0.2? Is he going to double that and make it 0.4 and really close in? Is he's validated on the penultimate corner? Disappointment there for himself. I think Deck is coming around next. Yes. Deck is coming out. Somebody's had a bit of a moment in the pit lane, I believe. Somebody's had a bit of a moment. So we've got Bad Boy coming across the line next. Then we have Wookie. Then we have, I think it's Raxi who's slowly making his way around currently. Same for Rusted Bolt as well, also making his way around. Oh, somebody's gone off. Somebody's gone off. It's Mono who's gone off. He's had a massive moment there. He's really gone far off the track. And a strange corner to do it on as well. Flinner's making his way around. Let's see how he's going to do. Is he going to perform well? Is he going to get in a decent lap? He's on those intermediate tyres. It's pretty much dry. It's decent enough for P5, just ahead of Yanni Casares. But in the end, it's still P5 at the end of the day. As somebody just jumped up. That was Sol who jumped to P4. ABE still pulling themselves back into contention. They're still there. Yanni starts his lap as well. I think we've got Karakimo making his way around slowly. I think we've got Deck who's also improving by 1.2 seconds at the moment. So that's going to send him to about P9 as it stands. Sliding everywhere, though, on those intermediates. Flamer's retired because of a race ban. Sorry, qualifying ban. Qualifying ban. 20 qualifying ban and race bans. But ultimately, Deck 2.1 seconds faster. And P6 when he crosses the line. Very strong laps from himself. Very strong lap as Wookie. Just replaces him for P6. As he goes to a 38.334. Very strong lap. I think we've got Mono's also retired in the pits, so Mono's had enough of it today. Bourbon Boy's on an out lap at the moment. I think the next is Flinner. He's going slowly. Then it's another out lap driver. Then it's Yanni Casares, who's going slowly. not JD Bergsma. That is his teammate Sol, who's also going slowly. We've got a lot of slow drivers at the moment on track. Josh Rose going quite slow there. Bad Boy is invalidated. Remote is on an out lap. I think, yeah, these guys are all up here. I think Wookiee's, of course, going slow. I think there's quite a few slow people at the moment. It's JD Bergsma who I think is next. Sol has now retired from the session. Sol doesn't think he's going to get any more out. The session, he's retired in P4 at the moment. He was just 0.02 of a second behind Josh Rose for P3. But he's still on that second row. 23 seconds remaining. Drivers are rushing to the line. So, of course, because of these wet conditions, let's see whether they'll make it to the line or not, because it's all about the gaps. JD Bergsma following in behind. He's got a bit of traffic. He's had to fight through some traffic. He's got SKG driver right in front. And P2 goes JD Bergsma to a 37.729. Barty couldn't make it to the line in time. Wookiee is coming in. Somebody's had a moment on track. That is Barty, who just had a moment on track. I think we've got Bourbon Boy coming round. Didn't see his middle sector time, so we'll have to see whether he's improving or not when he reaches the line. He is going for it, so he hasn't decided to quit on his lap, so definitely there's something in it for him. Around the final corner, Bourbon Boy, P2! What a lap! Within 30 thousandths, 31 thousandths behind. Flinner crosses the line. He stays P10, even though he did improve. I think we got King Stappen, who hasn't validated, but he'll end his session anyway. Milan has retired, and that's Milan's day done. And that's him in that position. I think we have Yanni coming across the line. Yanni goes P7, just ahead of his teammate. Decent improvement. Here comes Josh Rose. He's up by almost just over 0.3 of a second. So he's on them at the moment. He's on for P3 in qualifying. It's looking pretty strong from Josh Rose round the final corner and across the line. Josh Rose sets the pace fastest of all. Let's see. Karakimo is coming round. He goes he went somewhere, P10. And now Rexy reclaims pole. P1, a 1 minute 36.904. Josh Rose thought he had it. But it didn't work out. And JD Bergsma has invalidated, which means that is the end of qualifying. And XR8, I believe that is... That's XR8. And for the... I think third time now, they're on pole. 3 races in a row. Crazy stuff happening. Absolutely crazy stuff. So, in the end, this is the grid. Raxi is on pole, followed by Josh Rose, Bourbon Boy, Remote, JD Bergsma, Milan, Sol, Yanni, Wookiee, and Karakimo finishing out the top 10. Then it's Bad Boy, Deck, Flinner, Rusted Bolt, King Stappen, Mono, Bardi, and XPG Flame in last place. So we're going to be getting ready in the next few minutes. But what an interesting qualifying that was in the end. What an interesting end to qualifying. Raxi stealing it back in the very last few moments of qualifying. Very last few moments, but in the end, interesting. somebody has really done really early. As I can hear the beeping, but that means we're going to be getting going. Let's see how this is going to go. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here for COTA in FRLT Season 4 of 4s. And Raxi is pulled away perfectly. Down the inside goes Josh Rose, trying to make up a move past his teammate, but he's been unable to do so. And you can see a lot of drivers going all around at the back. Russell Bolt already down to P18. It's not been a good start for himself. Now making his way through the order, King Stappen jumps up the order quite a lot. He's up to about P10 behind his teammate. Remote gets past Bourbon Boy for P3, and that's up onto the podium for SKG. And it's looking pretty strong. SKG looking possibly like the leaders out there. Then followed by XRA, who are 1-2 at the moment. And this is exactly the championship start they needed. And look at this. JD Bergsman getting attacked from Yanni Casares. SKG really getting in some battles here tonight. But it is ABE fighting for their Constructors' Championship lead. And JD Bergsman now pulls past Bourbon Boy. And up into P4 he goes. Yanni Casares as well following through at the same time. Bourbon Boy really struggling on his tyres to get away well in any sort of way. You can now see Bourbon Boys dropping through the order. There's a couple of drivers going really wide further back. They're really struggling. That is King Stappen who's actually struggling. A couple of cars still ghosted further back. And look at this. Bourbon Boy attacked again now by Milan. Is he gonna lose P6 as well? No. Bourbon Boy is gonna fight for P6. He's not gonna allow Milan to have an easy day. Milan, of course, on the hard tyres as well. Both of them on the hards. And in the end, Bourbon Boy has to let Milan pass. And that is down to P7 already for himself. Not the best of starts that he would have been looking for tyres-wise. Pretty mixed, mostly mediums, but we've also got quite a few hard runners out there as well. Bad start for Bourbon Boy, but look at that. He's dropping down the order even more now. Behind Sol he goes. But he's still trying to battle this against the medium runner. Whether this will work or not, we'll have to see in the next few moments whether it will or it won't. Because it is going a little bit crazy. Wookie as well, making up to P8 now, ahead of Bourbon Boy at the same time. Bourbon Boy just dropping through the order. Now, Flame trying to get past the man of King Stappen. It's all getting a little bit feisty here over position. Very much getting a bit feisty. As I think we see quite a few teams getting a little bit angry. And that's ABE. We're really battling for championship. Bad Boy trying to battle Flame over P11 here. And a little bit more battling going on. Now, Flame. Still back. Whoa, what a big mistake from Bourbon Boy. Teammates almost collide. And it's slow from Bourbon Boy at the moment. He's had a terrible start. He's down a lot of places at the moment. I think he's down about 7 places. It's just not looking good for the XPG driver. He's just not had a good getaway at all. And a lot of problems for him. But Raxi leads away. 7/10 now in the lead. XR8 want to get that victory. And another Alpine to cross the line in the lead. Bardi now makes up to P11 ahead of Flame. Another position gain for SKG. Hopefully soon another point gain for them. The end and all 4 of their drivers inside of the top 10. As opposed to at the moment XR8, who I don't believe have that at the moment. Don't think they have all their drivers inside the top 10. I think at the moment they've only got 2 drivers, I believe. Did they only have 2 drivers? I don't see another one. Unless you guys see another one, but I don't. So it's looking like a pretty difficult weekend for them. Even though they're 1-2, it's a 1-2 that they really need to make up for the extra points lost. All over the back, Remote. Really looking for that move on the Williams. It is dry, of course, compared to qualifying. DRS open. Here comes Remote down the inside of Josh Rose. And that 1-2 is no longer there. Oh my god, 3 wide! Further back. That's left JD Bergsman in hell. Same for Yanni Casares. Both of them. Absolute madness and an overtake of hell from the 2 of them. A little bit stupid of a move to make it 3 wide. Whoa, and more tangling between the SKG and ABE driver. Holy, what is going on between them? A little bit too much. Oof. Now, crossing the line. Wookie, good position gain from himself, up to P4 now. Really good start coming from the RB driver. Very good start at the moment from from the ABE driver, sorry. I'm so used to the tier 1 cars. I can't remember. But ABE driver of Wookie at the moment leading the group. But ABE still looking to get those points at the moment. They've got 7. They've got about 14. Sorry, 7. They got 12, and they get another 3, so 15, and then they get another 11. So they're getting 26 points at the moment from for ABE compared to XR8, who are currently now P2 as Remote takes the lead of the race. SKG lead for the first time here in FRLT Fords. They've done it quite a bit in Tier 1, and they're doing it here in Fords. It's one of the only teams to actually lead laps in both. We know UFRT have led laps, same as XR8. Now SKG become the 3rd team. XPG also did it, so there's 4 out of 5. AB are the only team now who haven't done it in Fords because they don't race in Tier 1 because they didn't qualify for it. 3-second time penalty for UFRT deck. Not looking too good for UFRT. They're having a real struggle this week. They're having a real struggle. It's been a massive struggle for them so far. It's not looking good in any sort of way. Bourbon Boy now fights his way back up to P11 ahead of Bad Boy, and that is a good move for him. And I think it's actually probably his first overtake of the entire race for Bourbon Boy, which is at least an improvement from going backwards in the grid. But going backwards was definitely not the aim. You can see some gaps starting to open up. Bardi now over a second behind P7. Oh, somebody's gone off. That's King Stappen who's gone off. And that's a massive mistake from King Stappen because that's now dropped him outside the top 10 and dropped 3 points for ABE here tonight. And he can't seem to really get going. P18 in the last is where he now sits. That's not where you want to be. As now Flame takes P8 away, and that is up a position for XPG. And another lovely point for XPG as well at the end of the day. These small points they need to climb up a position in the Constructors. But it's still Remote who leads away. SKG looking for their first ever win in FRLT. They almost got it in... They almost had it in Tier 1 last week in Monza, but they just missed out this week. They're hoping to maybe get in Tier 1, but they're also maybe hoping to lock it up and get another one in Fours, maybe make it 2 wins in a single week, but they'll be getting their first Fours win here and right now. I think we're very much on the verge of seeing possibly a third different Constructors champion in FRLT for Fours. I think, you see... we've seen in the first season, I think it was AERO who took the Force Championship. AERO Force Champions. And then last season, as now King Stappen retires, the first retirement of tonight's race here on lap 6. And then last season, of course, SCT took the championship in Fours, claiming their first title. And this season, of course, we've got either ABE will claim their first or XR8 will claim their first. We know in Tier 1, ABE can't win it because they're not racing in Tier 1. And we know for instance, XR8, their chance of winning the Constructors' Championship is very much out of the chance. And out of the question, really, I should say, for them. They've got less than half the points so far, and only the last sort of 4 races of the season to go. So, realistically, Fours is at the moment their only chance of winning their first championship. But we actually, at the moment, could be looking at 2 new champions in season number 4, which would be very interesting to see. Heading up the hill. Remote. He's relinquished the lead to Raxi, but it's all strategy at the moment. It's very much all strategy with these guys. My apologies, I've just had to quickly pause that for a second. And somebody's gone off. That's Bad Boy who's gone off. He's down the order to P14. Not the best. Not exactly what you want to be having from, I believe, UFRT there. Nowhere close to what sort of the weekend they were kind of hoping for. They were definitely hoping for much better. I think that's a difficulty. Remote now takes the lead of the race once again. But yeah, I think it's a difficulty at the moment for UFRT. I think they're struggling to kind of find where they are on the grid. They've had now sort of 2-3 difficult races. And of course, with XPG scoring big points, scored 18 points last week to 18 points closer for XPG to UFRT. It's them getting closer at the moment. They're still 56 points away, I believe. So, at least for now, I'd say definitely for now, UFRT are kind of okay. They're not in a terrible place, but being P12, P13, P14, and P15, those are not the places you want to be with all 4 drivers outside of the top 10. No points this week would, I think, be incredibly annoying. I think for UFRT, no points for, once again this season. It's been a bit of a tough one on them. They're still on their way for 3rd in the constructors. At the moment, you can see Bad Boys had gone into the pits, but they're still on their way for 3rd in the Constructors' Championship, so they're still on to at least lift a sort of, might not be the biggest trophy, but it might be the smallest of the trophies, but it's still a trophy at the end. And at the moment, they haven't even, I don't think UFRT have won a race this season either. They haven't done it in Tier 1 either, but, we're especially seeing here in fours that, they've not won, but they're still 3rd in the Constructors, which shows how powerful their consistent performances have been. But having races like this where none of your drivers are scoring points is just going to pull them further away, especially with XR8 and ABE drivers being inside of the top 10. As now Raxi retakes the lead. You can see, look at this. Josh Rose trying to gain a place, but he's not going to be able to. As now Flame pulls past JD Bergsma for P6 in the race. Flame hoping to maybe put on a back-to-back victory for XPG. And Bardi gets past Sol for P8 in this race, and that's a solid move from himself. Looking pretty interesting for the moment. Looking very interesting for the moment. Actually, Bardi comes in, same as Yanni Casares as well, feeling like it's time. Remote now retakes the lead of the race before turn 1. It's definitely an interesting way for SKG to come straight into this championship, even if they finish where they are, P1 and P5, P1, P4, it's still 29 points. And the fact is, XPG have only scored 40 points in their 2 races. So in one race, score over half that is really good. And I think SKG definitely could be a problem for XPG. And definitely, I think they're definitely going to be a problem for... Sorry, round 3 was when XPG joined, but they're definitely going to be a problem for UFRT as well. As now Raxi takes the lead. Yes, I shall show the tyres if the game would like to do it for me. Tyres at the moment. Those are the tyres as it currently stands. Pretty much nobody, it's very mixed, hards and mediums there, but it's quite clear. Now, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Make sure to click on the notification button about the content we're going to be doing here for the rest of the season for videos, shorts and streams. Now, back onto the race. No more time for doing a pitch for you guys to subscribe. JD Bergsma now into the pits. Comes another driver to go in. Where is he going to come out roughly? Is he going to come out ahead of Flinner and Mono? But the biggest thing is he going to come out behind ahead of Yanni and his teammate Bardi? Who's going to come out here? This is the big question. JD Bergsma, has he gotten them? He's going to be racing them out of the pits. He will be racing them. but he's actually dropped behind them, so he's actually now just dropped 2 places to the 2 of them. So that's not the best of pit stops for himself. Looking at the top 3, they're kind of broken away, but it looks like Milan is catching on to the top 3 now. 1.2 seconds behind his teammate in 3rd. Josh Rhodes now takes the lead of the race, I think for the first time here tonight. Taking him a while to take the lead of the race. He's been sitting around in sort of P3 for most of it. You can see Milan is catching up to his teammate in P3, and this means it could be full on XR8 versus SKG. So we'll have to see how that goes. Mono up to P9. Nice move there from himself. I think we saw something happening a bit further back. As now Wookie comes in. Pit same as Sol. Teammates coming into pit. This could be a decent strategy from ABE. I think they're seeing that the undercut is the way to go, so maybe that's the way they want to go with the tyres. Hard tyres on for him and hard tyres on for Wookie as well. So Sol and Wookie both onto the hard tyres. Wookie might come out just in front of this group. Yes, he is. He's going to just come out in front of Mono, which has saved him massively. Whoa, Mono is there. But look at this. This has caused Bardi to try and make a move. Oh, very... Whoa, side by side. They're racing through the section. Mono has to go across the track. He cuts the track a bit. That's dropped now, and Bardi gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings anyway. So that was not the smartest of attempts to make a move. And there's a bit of a weak one there. Bit of a problem. Not what you want at all. And now Yanni now makes his way past. But look at this. A bit of a mistake has actually allowed JD Bergsma to get in front of the 2 of them. And up to P9 he goes, as now he chases Bardi for P8 as Wookie. Whoa, we got some movement happening here. Wookie having to defend against Bardi. Now into the next corner. Look at that. Wookie's still there. He's not giving up the position. He's going to give him a tough time. Look at this. Still side-by-side racing. Very interesting. A lot of contact coming. And now coming round the long right-hander. Ultimately, Wookie has come out in front still, and he holds on to the position. Very important for him to hold on to the position as well. But it's ultimately lost them quite a bit of time as Mono now gets another penalty. Look at this, and again towards turn 1. Bardi trying to make a move. Deck is now retired from the race by his own choice. Disappointment there, I think, for UFRT. It's been a really big struggle for them. Currently, they're the bottom 3 drivers in this race. And they've suffered a retirement as well, which is not good for them. A really disappointing one. But you see, it's the way it goes sometimes, and UFRT have not walked away well from this race at all. Again, we're seeing Wookie go very defensive, pushing Bardi very, very far. Really aggressive. Again, really aggressive pushing coming from himself down the inside. And again, another massive move. That's led to a mistake that's actually allowed his teammate to get past him as well. And here comes Yanni down the inside, pushing and shoving. A mistake from, again, another mistake from JD Bergsma has led to him getting caught out. Our main guys have been busy eating Easter eggs. Wow. Nah, but I'll call that W's. Yanni gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Another driver with penalties. 5 drivers now with penalties in this race. Quite a few. Getting a few too many, I'd say, so far. Definitely getting a few too many. Karakimo gets 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I think we could be seeing another retirement this evening, and this one coming from XPG. Or is he going to come in and do some sort of research for them? All the medium runners have now come in. It's just the hard runners left, and it's the top 6 who haven't stopped yet. And it's Raxi who still leads the way, followed by Remote and Josh Rose. And then Milan, who has dropped off now, is 3.3 seconds behind in pace. Raxi now heading down towards turn 1. Is that going to be a move from Remote? No, he thought about it for a second, but it doesn't come true in the end. Wookie with the fastest lap of the race. So now he actually makes his way past for P7 as well, ahead of Bardi. So he's finding quite a bit of pace again. And maybe those hard tyres, those slightly younger hard tyres, and maybe coming through now. And his pace is really starting to show, which is good. Tough one, I think, for some teams today. It's definitely been a tough one. Remote now takes the lead of the race, away from Raxi. Nice move there from himself. Now Wookie and Bardi going again. Going at some battling once again. I think it's an interesting one here tonight, because I think AB are clearly showing that they're not, I think, entirely there on pace. And look at this battle over P9. JD Bugsmaster's back out anyway, but I think AB, are clearly showing here tonight that they're not the team on pace. They're not the team that has the pace in the championship, and maybe they have gone from being relatively, I think, overall fastest to maybe. And I don't want to be mean, but maybe bottling the championship. We know that roughly around, after about round 4 or 5, they start to struggle. We know that in Tier 1, and we've seen that quite often. The only exclusion of that was Season 1. But even then, they had a couple of struggles after round 5. Here, their struggles sort of restarted after about round 4 and onwards. So for the last 2 races now, they're really having a bit of a struggle to get points, trying to make those positions up. At the moment, they're not doing it. They're not getting those points. You know, they're only on for sort of P7 and P8 as it would stand. You know, it's not a lot of points. You know, that's nowhere close to where you should be getting them. You should be getting a lot more. Bad Boy gets another 3-second time penalty. And look at this, Bardi battling with Wookie again. But this is what I mean. Like, I just think at the moment there's a bit of a problem that, you know, yeah, they're getting 5 points from P7 and they're getting another 3, but 8 points, is that all, is that at the moment all that sort of really AB can muster, is just a small 8 points in their championship that's at the moment only going to really take them to, I think, 130 points. You know, are they really struggling that much? Now XPG, Flame and Milan come into the pits. It's a disappointing one, because they really, you know, they started the season, they took a victory, you know, which was really good. They haven't had great luck in 4s in previous seasons. But with a couple of those overtakes, it's actually allowed them to get up to P5 and P7 now. So it's looking maybe a little bit better than it was originally. But still, I think we all know that XPG, you know, ABE have fallen behind in the constructors, and I think they're not the fastest team. I think after probably about round 3, they've stopped. I think after round 3, I think they stopped being the fastest team, and I think it all went the way of XR8, who became the faster team. Flynn and now retires in the pits. That's his race over and done. Three-way battling for the lead, by the way. If we can actually get a decent camera angle on this. Look at this. Teammates going at it. Remote also trying to get the lead. Kawakimo also retires from the race. 4th retirement. This time for XPG. Quite a few retirements have now come through for different teams. ABE 1, UFRT 2, and now XPG also with 1 retirement. It's a tough one though. I think we can all agree the top 3 are very much on their own in this race. I think the top 3 are very much in a battle of their own. Like, look at Bourbon. He's 10 seconds behind, this battle over the podium. Like, he's 10 seconds off, which isn't terrible, but it's still 10 seconds. You can also see the gap behind has gone from about 12, 14 seconds down to about 7.7 now. So he's losing a lot of time to the cars behind, about 5 seconds so far. But the battling, I think, has helped him. Look at this Wookiee having to defend from Vardy again. As now Milan, by the way, is trying to get past JD Bergsma for P7. Is this going to be a move made, or won't it? Whoa, a bit of contact. And Milan ultimately makes his way past P7. And because of penalties, he'll be up to P5. So 10 points coming in for SKG here tonight. Another 10 points in the bag for themselves. Josh Rose now loses the lead of the race to his teammate Vraxi. I think at the moment, of course, XR8 do seem to be dominating this championship, and I think everybody can agree. And, a mistake from Josh Rose has actually allowed Remote to get past. He's almost entirely past now. And a bit of sliding from Josh Rose has now allowed Remote up into P2. As now, a couple of drivers having a couple of moments further back. That's Wookiee who's being run off the track completely. Whoa, and into the wall! Into the wall goes Milan and Wookiee. What has happened there? Oh my god. Massive collision between the two. It's so similar to some of the incidents we've seen, but it's a good time to have a pit stop. Remote has perfectly gotten into the pits on time and is now going to be able to roll away with fresh tyres, save time in the pit stop, while the other two, Josh Rose and Raxi, are still going to have to possibly go around at normal speed, at full speed. Try to make that time up. Massive mistake there. Massive error from some of these drivers. You can see Remote now slowly making his way around. It's gonna be an interesting one. That's changed things up. A virtual safety car very much does change a lot of things up. Oof. We're gonna have to see now how the rest of this race goes. Wookiee now retires from the race, a 5th retirement of the night. Holy. And it's another ABE out. See Vardy getting he's rushing Remote a little bit. They are teammates, but he is rushing his teammate a little bit too much. Are we going to go the whole lap under virtual safety car, or are the drivers going to get going? They are going to get going, and they get going now. So the good thing for Remote is that he's going to be able to close in, because they've actually had they were caught mid-corner when it went out, so the gap is coming down massively. You can see 15.4. They've actually had a really bad, they've been caught mid-corner, 13.9 seconds, and they're going to have to come in for a full pit stop, 13.8 now. This is really bad timing for these guys. For XR8, they might just lose the race lead. I think they're going to lose not only the race lead, but they're going to drop down a lot of positions because they've just completely dropped the ball on this. Flame gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Where are they going to come out in the end? Remote is going to be miles ahead of them out of the pits. He's really all the way down the road and on fresh tyres. Where are they going to come out? They're going to come out really far behind. I think that's Yanni Casares, who's going to be right there on the back of Raxi. But Josh Rose has lost out. 3 drivers do have penalties. JD Bergsma will be P2 and Raxi will be P3. So for XRA, it's not looking too good. Even though JD Bergsma has been on those tyres for so long. So long. Let's actually have a look at how long he's been on the tyres for. He's been on them for 9 laps now, and he's got to do another about 10 laps on those tyres. He's still going to try and make it to the end. He could have stopped for mediums once again, but he decided not to. But we're going to see now, because Remote, fresh tyres, leading the race, 2 seconds in the lead already. He's, I think, about almost 4 seconds ahead, 3.5, about 4 seconds ahead of Raxi in P4 now. He's just this was a perfect strategy, and I've got to give it to SKG. They're looking like they're on their way to win their first race in their debut race. Oof, it's looking a little bit better. Flames had a bit of a moment. He's down to P7, and because of his penalty, he'll drop down to P8 anyway. Bourbon Boy did stop under the virtual safety car, but it didn't work out the same for him. He's P9, but he needs to close up quite a bit more. He is closing up a lot to Sol and to his teammate Flame, and currently he might be going into P7, but he'll need to close in a lot more. Now, Remote leads by 3.3 seconds. He's really down the road. He's gone already. We know he's gone already, but JD Boatsman defending for P3 around the outside is what Raxi's trying to do. JD Boatsman's not going to let a move like that happen so easily. And of course for Raxi, this is race-winning chances that he is really losing out on here. He's losing huge amounts of time. 3.8 seconds is the gap between P1 and P2. That's now 4 seconds, and that's just increasing. Whoa, Barney giving a real problem. He's been off the track. And look at this. It is all chaos going on now. XR8 trying to take the lead. Barney down the inside of Raxi. Barney's really giving a problem to Raxi. And now it's all going off. And it is going a little bit crazy. Whoa, look at that. But it is almost 6 seconds is the gap now out in the lead. Sorry, 5.3 seconds is the gap. But look at this. JD Boatsman's still going to give Josh Rose a bit of a problem on track. He's still going to give one XR8 driver a bit of a problem. He really wants to because he's seeing points slip away, sadly, for ABE. They've got 2 drivers out and only 2 drivers left. That means it's not looking too good. Flame has just stopped suddenly on track. It can't be me that just saw him just dead ass stop. He just stopped still. No clue how that has happened. He's down to P9 now. Sort of a bit out of this race, but a bit disappointing for XPG. Looks like they could have done a lot better. But now, Raxi and Josh Rose have a 5.6 second gap to close in just 7 laps. It's going to be almost impossible, especially against a driver with only 1 lap older tyres on those mediums. It's not going to be enough. It might be maybe a 10th a lap extra, maybe 3/10 a lap extra, but it's not going to be enough to really change this race. As Flame has had another moment. Has this car stopped dead on track again? I'm really confused why we keep on seeing yellow flags for him. Let's just watch him for the next few moments. Let's see whether he is just stopping dead on track and there's maybe problems with the game, which we'll have to see, of course. Now, as you can see, this might be a bit of a problem for the rest of the grid. Because XR8 might be pulling off, a decent race. But the problem they have slightly at the moment, the problem that they currently have a bit for XR8 is that they're not going to win again. I think it's going to be the second or third time this season they wouldn't have won when they could have. I think this is going to be the second time in 6 races. I think XR8 are struggling a bit for performance. I think they've clearly been up there with the Remote, but I think Remote has been a bit stronger, and that virtual safety car pit stop blunder has ultimately caused them to lose out the victory. They're very much just racing against themselves now, which is painful for them. They know they're not going to come out of this race with the most points, I don't believe, at the moment. I think I think there's a couple of drivers who do it more. Bad Boy now retires, which means there's only 12 left. One UFRT driver left in this race. Really poor for them. Yeah, Remote has actually pitted. Yes, he has, Ryan. Remote has pitted. It's been an incredible pit stop under the virtual safety car, and that's why he's gained 5 seconds over everyone else. And you've got to give it to him. That's a really good pit stop and great timing. Only 5.2 seconds the gap with 5 laps to go. They've only closed in by about 0.4 of a second, but Remote has been on it all race. He's been on the back of the XR8 duo. And let's be honest. XR8, they were fast, but we did see that, it was 2 versus 1, and very much Remote gave the duo a real problem in the lead, But Remote and SKG with the strategy call of the century. Poor Ryan. Jeddah race. Not too well. If you want to get better, you can watch all my videos. No, I'm kidding. It's in self-promotion. It's funny. But no, I'm kidding. Ultimately, I think when I look at it, SKG have pulled off an absolute strategy masterclass, maybe the best we've seen all season. Might actually be the best we've seen all season. But I think XR8 have had the slight luck that, of course, they are fast. They have been fast. And they're probably going to stay the fastest for the rest of the season, I'd say. 90% most likely. For the rest of the season, they're going to stay the fastest. The fastest team. I think for the rest of the season, I think we're very much going to be seeing it between maybe SKG and XR8 now. But I'd say very much still in average performance, I think XR8 are still the fastest team on the grid. I think overall they're still the fastest. SKG have thrown something in, but still, even then, I think XR8 overall are the second fastest team. Sorry, not the second fastest, but the fastest team. And I think, really, you've got to give it to XR8. They've come from very far back. They were about 40 points off the Constructors' Championship lead at one point. 30, 40 points off the Constructors' Championship lead. And they've come back and they've taken the lead of the Constructors' Championship out of round 5. And they're going to continue to lead the Constructors out of round 6. I think the final 3 races are going to be a walk in the park for them. I think they're very much just aiming to finish the season now. Just claiming these consistent podiums, getting double podiums is really, realistically, it's all you really need is to get double podiums to pretty much stay ahead of teams. And they're showing it here. I think it's very clear that XR8 are showing it here. And it's very easy to see that these two have been performing well. But you can see another SKG driver, Yanni Casares, having a bit of a battle with JD Bergsma. And I think that's Bourbon Boy also having a bit of a battle with another SKG driver. This time of Bardi. And down the inside goes Bourbon. First bit of racing we've had in a while. Bourbon trying to make his move. Round the outside. Bardi's given a tough battle to most drivers. Off the track goes Bourbon. But he's not going to let it go. And down the inside he goes. He's trying to get those extra points for XPG here tonight. It's been a bit of a rough one for them. Bardi stays in front in P6 for now. And 7 points are still going to be theirs. Bardi, of course, Bardi has that penalty. He's going to put him behind Bourbon Boy and Sol anyway. And you see Bardi just kind of almost letting him by. Not really fighting it. He knows he's got penalties. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. XPG not coming away too well here tonight. I think we can all agree they haven't come away perfectly. Only on for 7 points. Not really the way you want to go. I think 8 points. Coming away with 8 points at the end of the night. Not really the way they wanted it to go. After scoring 18 points last week, so it's not looking like the perfect campaign for them. It's been a rough campaign for them, definitely. Raxi now goes up to P2. They've closed the gap down to 3.5 seconds. I think purely because of DRS. A mistake from Bardi sees him down to P9. But Remote leads by 3.7 seconds ahead of Raxi and Josh Rose. This is where teammates working together might help. But the problem is they're now only going to have 3 laps to do it in. And they've only gained a few tenths in the last in the last 2 laps, they've only really gained about a second. So we'll have to see as we go on to lap 26 and have now just 3 laps of this race remaining. Of course, remember, Remote will possibly just be saving his battery till the final end if these two do catch up in the end. But for Remote here, I don't think he has to be really stressed unless he makes a mistake and gets a penalty or something. He definitely doesn't have to be stressed in this race. I think he's taking it easy and trying to very much bring the car home and not get a penalty in any sort of way. As that's now Baldi again spinning on track. Bit more disappointment as he now comes into the pits, by the way. As he comes into the pits, possibly to try and steal fastest lap. That could be his strategy. Remote making his way around. The gap's gone back up to 4 seconds, by the way. So the gap has increased by another 4 tenths in the end. So it's not a massive gain for them. And, you know, every time they lose time in the first sector, it's just time they're losing overall. You know, they're just losing those few tenths. They haven't actually really gained anything. I will say they haven't really gained anything this lap on Remote. You know, over the last lap, they haven't really gained at all. So I don't think we're going to be seeing Josh Rose catch up anyway. But JD Bergsman having a bit of a battle with Yanni Casares. We can see Bourbon Boy is trying to close in on JD Bergsma for P5, and you can see he is closing in quite a bit, 1.9 seconds. This might actually be the battle to watch. I'd definitely say this, the moment, is the battle to watch because it is coming down massively. The gap down to 1.6 already. 1.5, Jesus. Bourbon Boy's really on a speedy run at the moment. It wasn't the best starts from him. He really dropped down the order. He dropped, I think, 10 places. Hello, Isaias. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. A little bit late this week, but you've just caught us in time. Bourbon Boy now making his way around 1.7, 1.6 seconds. He's just outside of that DRS. And of course, JD Bergsman is going to get the DRS. But let's see. This is the real battle now. I'm going to be honest. Bourbon Boy is the man who's really in possibly the only on-track battle. I think Sol behind as well. But the main thing here for Bourbon Boy is to catch up to Yanni and to catch up to JD Bergsman and try to get that P4 finish. Flame having a couple of moments now. He's down in P12. It's not been a good day at all for XPG. It's been a really rough day for them, except for Bourbon Boy. And I think Flame's having a couple of glitchy moments. He keeps stopping on track, just dead stopping. But see, down to 1.6 seconds now. It's coming down a lot, but it wasn't a great exit. And you can see at the moment, it's not looking like he's going to get the place. Yanni gets past JD Bergsma for position. Bourbon Boy not much closer than he was. And it's looking like a bit of a hard one. Very much. It's a bit of a hard one to watch, I think, really, for XPG. Because, of course, P6, you know, they're chasing down P5. They're almost there. They're going to get P5 because of penalties over Yanni. But, you know, they want to get that P4. But, you know, they're not on their way to do it. Flame, again. My apologies. Oh, clicked on the wrong button. I'm so dumb. Flame, he keeps stopping. He has a broken front wing. But we're on to the final lap anyway. We've got to watch the lead because it is Remote who leads away. Look at how far back Josh Rose and Raxi are. They're so far back. We've only had one driver in this entire race that has now been lapped. One driver in this whole race that has now been lapped. But Remote leads away, and you can see 3.5 seconds is his lead. I think it's going to be one of the biggest wins of the season. SKG winning on debut, which is going to be very interesting to see. But I think you know, this is where XR8 have sadly lost out a bit. The strategy very much lost out massively there, but we got to give a massive amount of praise to Remote and SKG. We've got to give them all of the credit because the race they've had, they've been in, you know, Remote and SKG have been in that battle for the lead ever since the start of the race. But it kind of started to fall away earlier. Yanni gets another 3-second time penalty. He's dropped down the order a bit, down to P5. But coming round to the final corner, SKG and Remote on debut in fours wins in COTA. XR8 will finish off the podium in P2 and P3 We then got to look back to P4 with JD Bergsma, who's battling Yanni Casares over P4 and those 11 points. But for ABE, on a tough day and a tough qualifying, it's going to be good enough to score some points and to at least take a top 4 finish. Yanni finishes behind Bourbon Boy, recovers to P5 and Sol P6. And a strong day in the end, 18 points scored for ABE. Yanni finishes 7th, Milan is 8th. Bayardi is going to probably finish, I think, about P9 in the order. It's looking incredibly strong. Flame is now retired out on track. He's done. That's another retirement. XPG really having a tough day. Oof. And Bayardi comes in 9th with Mono in 10th as he crosses the line. And finally we'll be having Rusted Bolt. Oof. But what a win for SKG on debut. What a win in 4s. A nice one. Very, very strong finish for SKG. You got to give it to them. What a day and what a win for them, and a massive win for them as well. A massive, huge amount of points as well from this race. So they could definitely take that as a plus. I think at the end of the day, definitely a plus. As you can see, 2 British drivers on the podium. Raxi, the only German on the podium. Another victory for SKG, another victory in 4s, and the new team to claim victory. 5 teams and 6 races, by the way, have now won. Getting very, very interesting and getting very, very close. Very close. Sorry, it could be 6 teams. Sorry, yeah, no, it is 5 teams out of 7 now won. Because UFRT haven't won yet. Remote finishes in 1st, followed by Raxi, Josh Rose, JD Bergsma, Bourbon Boy, Sol, Yanni, Milan, Bardi, and Mono in 10th. Rusted Bolt finishes 11th, and all the retirees are Flame, Bad Boy, Wookie, Kakimo, Flyer, Flinner, Deck, and King Stappen. If I was being completely honest, my drive of the day, there's only really one person I could give it to, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna give it to I'm trying to think. I'm gonna give it to Bourbon Boy. I can't help it, but the recovery drive from him was incredible. Incredible recovery drive. I don't think I've really seen anybody do such an incredible sort of recovery drive in the end. But yeah, great job from him. Ultimately, guys, this is the end of the stream. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, click on that notification bell to know about all the content we're going to be doing here. Not only on 4s, but also for Tier 1 from videos, shorts, and streams. Also, make sure to go and follow us on Twitter. The link is down below. Also, big thanks to our affiliate, SimRacing Center. The link to their Discord server is down below. They do all things from coaching, setups, race strategies, anything and everything you want about sim racing. Make sure to go and follow them. They don't just do it for F1, they do it for other games as well, so make sure to go and check them out. We'll have a look at the calendar for one last time. We've now gone through Imola, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Great Britain, Austria, and COTA. Only 3 races remain. China on the 27th, Netherlands on the 4th, and then Bahrain on the 11th. Those are our final 3 races, 3 last weeks. And I'm slightly sad to some degree that these are the final 3 races of Season 4 because it's been an incredible season. But ultimately, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.